Hello, anyone who's watching this. My name is Max Radbill. I'm the co-writer, director, and producer of Re-Elected, and I'm here with Erik Alexis. Erik,
Hey.
introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Erik Alexis, and I am lucky enough to be playing zombie George Washington in Re-Elected.
Yeah, Erik is a good friend. He's a good man, and he's a great actor. And so we're gonna chat a little bit about Re-Elected. So we shot the movie a year ago,
We
exactly a
did.
year ago.
Yeah,
It keeps coming up on my time hop.
yeah, same here.
And it's funny. So we had been working on the movie. We, meaning me and my co-writer and producer Eric Looney, different Eric, no relation.
Right.
Um, and we had been working on it for like 2 years at this point. And we got to Maryland and we started shooting the movie. And we brought you on really like right before we started filming.
Yeah,
You were
very
one
last
of the
minute.
you were one of the last people to join the crew
Mhm.
and the cast, and it worked out perfectly. So tell me a little bit about how you came on, or tell the
Okay,
people
well,
because I already know.
yeah, of course. Well, I had done a play about 8 years prior with one of the producers, and she Facebook messaged me saying, "Hey, do you still live in Maryland?" Yeah. Are you still acting? Yeah. And I said, "Well, I'm producing this movie." She gave me the real quick rundown, the log line for the movie, and said, "We're looking for George Washington. Are you interested in submitting?" And I was like, "Of course." So she sent me about a page of script. I recorded myself on a cell phone performing it, sent it to you guys, and I think less than 24 hours from initially hearing about it, I was in the movie.
Yeah, we were really excited when we saw your audition because so originally we wanted to get like a name actor. And if you don't
Mhm.
know what a name actor is, it's an actor whose name you've heard
Yeah,
before. But because of like the budget and time constraints, we couldn't afford to hire someone like that. We couldn't afford to fly them out to Maryland. So we
right.
decided to find somebody local. And we watched Eric's audition and it was like immediate, like, okay, well, he's George Washington.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I remember when I first met you, I think you told me that, and you said my job was to get famous before the movie came out so that you would have a name. And I'm sorry I haven't done that, but I guess that's why we've had to delay the movie is because I
Yeah, we can't
haven't
release
gotten
the movie
famous yet.
until you become
Yeah.
famous. um, but you worked out better than any famous actor would have. I say that, and everyone I've shown the film to, everyone
Oh,
involved with the film, thinks that, like, honestly, your part is one of the highlights.
oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I mean, it was really humbling to me. And I felt a huge responsibility that basically based on just this 60-second video I shot on my phone, you were going to trust me to play this part in your movie when you'd never met me before. So I very much am grateful to you for your trust in that.
Yeah, well, of course. I'm grateful that you trusted to stay in that hot, sticky cabin for
Yeah.
as long as we did.
Yeah.
What? So when you heard about the movie, we hired you for the part.
Mhm.
You and I met. We talked. What did you do after reading the script to kind of like get in the mindset of zombie of George Washington, but also a zombie and the villain in a horror movie and all that?
Yes. Well, you asked me to watch Evil Dead 1 and 2,
Mhm.
which I watched both of those to kind of get the idea of zombie or demon you were going for, because it's kind of a, I think the way you described it is the character is half George Washington, half demon.
Yeah.
So I honestly, it's not necessarily something I even thought about when filming it, but just to justify my mind, I even came up with this idea in my head of, okay, so I guess he's kind of George Washington, but then from the second he's back, there's this demon voice whispering in his head and
Yeah.
telling him all these things. America's become this. You gotta take it back. And then when everyone shows up, how hideous he looks and just screams at the sight of him, of course he's the demon was right.
Oh man, they don't like me anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, but just the devil.
Right, exactly.
um, and for the movie, you did a lot of So you were super involved in the sense that you had all this makeup, all these
Mhm.
prosthetics, you had a wig, you had the costume, and you were fighting, doing stunts, playing with a weapon.
Yeah.
Um, how is that different from what you've done before as an actor, and what was that like getting to do all of that different stuff?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I've never done anywhere near that level of makeup before.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I remember when the first night that I was in the full makeup, I would stay in the cabin while you guys were filming outside, so I wouldn't be sweating under it too much. All the lights were off in the cabin. I'm just there's leaning against the couch. But it was so whenever the door would open, the beam of light from the door would just come and hit me perfectly. And on two separate occasions, people came into the cabin and literally screamed when they saw me. I think one was Eric, and after a second, he's like, "Okay, good, it's effective." But there was that. The stunt work was a lot of fun. Getting to walk through and do that work, and how you guys always were, I know, prioritizing safety, which we appreciated.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, for them. Well, it's like in your position, you have to be creative. Your job is you hire other people to make sure you keep things safe.
Yeah.
That figures. Yeah,
I trust that everyone's safe.
exactly, exactly. But yeah, I'd did a lot of things on this I'd never done before. One of my kind of favorite behind the scenes tidbits is that when almost anytime you see me in the movie, I myself can't really see
Oh,
because I wear contacts in everyday life, something like, I don't know, my vision's something like 2300. It's really bad. But because I was cast so close to production, these special zombie contacts that you had me wearing were just non-prescription. So I'm there seeing at my regular horrible vision while chasing people and swinging axes at them.
yeah, I remember because we had the contact lenses for you and Andrew Jackson,
Yeah,
and your vision is as bad as mine, and I can
yeah,
only imagine having to think about everything, think about the fight,
yeah,
and making sure your wig doesn't fall off. Because I remember we kept losing your
yeah.
wig,
That happened a couple times too. Yeah,
um, and doing all this like this combat and everything. It's now I understand why they want stunt people to have awards because
yeah,
you did a lot. You
yeah,
there was a lot asked of you, but it was fun and it turned out really cool.
yeah. I'm very happy with it when I saw it.
Yeah. So what kind of this was your first film role,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like anything you'd never been in a short film or anything like that?
Um, I mean, little tiny things. I filmed one thing several years previously, but it never ended up getting completed, which disappointed me because I it would have looked really cool. But I have like my head shaved for it and stuff. Or
Oh.
yeah, it would have looked cool, or for other reasons, but it just happened to be when that was shot. But and I mean, filmed like a kind of photo and video shoot for like a West Virginia tourism thing the year before, but really no real film acting. I've done almost exclusively theater work up to this point.
Yeah. And didn't you told me that one of your first roles as an actor was George Washington or had something to do
Yes.
with George Washington?
Yeah, I when I was the summer between fourth and fifth grade, I went to a kind of playwriting camp in Western Maryland, where we stayed at Frostburg College for a week, and everyone like wrote their plays and then performed them at the end of the week. And the play I was in, I played both Thomas Jefferson and George Washington.
Oh, like
So
in Hamilton, you're
yes,
playing two
yeah,
roles.
yes. So it's like one of my first, and that honestly, I got into that because of my interest in writing, but really that's what kind of got me the acting bug too. So playing George Washington is what really got me interested in acting in the first place.
Yeah. So when they make like a the next big budget period movie in the Revolutionary War, they can hire you, and that can be your thing. You could be George Washington
Yeah, yeah,
forever.
let's do that.
Um, Did you do any sort of like historical research into George Washington?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, he's fortunately a well enough known figure that I already knew quite a bit about him. Though the thing I found interesting was that he apparently was, like I guess many people were back in the day, he was afraid of being buried alive. So he had like a list of requirements, like do this after I die. And it was, I think one of his last words that he spoke was making sure people had that straight. And so I just thought in some extent how he's probably going in his mindset as the character from being afraid of that when he dies to waking up underground in this movie and clawing his way up. So that's the one thing that I found kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's a relatable tidbit, easy to internalize.
Yeah. And then there are all the well-known George Washington stories that we managed to get some, won't spoil them because we get some puns in the movie itself.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You'll find out.
Yeah.
Eventually. What was your favorite memory from set or your favorite moment?
Oh gosh. I mean, in general terms, just the filming of stuff was very cool. It was a great collaborative set where, we were allowed to try out a bunch of different things, many of which you ended up in the movie, which is really cool. The one thing that I think sticks with me as a real just fun moment on set was, like a lot of movies, we shot the first scene in the movie as the last day of filming. Mm-hmm. It was going to be before, but we rescheduled it for weather reasons, and it ended up raining the day that we rescheduled it to. So there was all this like worry, we have to leave the location in the morning. It needs to stop raining so we can get this done. But during the while we were waiting for the rain to stop, Cameron, who plays Nate, actually was giving ballroom dancing lessons. So we were doing that during the rain, and that was just a fun, not necessarily filming related, but just fun backstage memory.
Yeah, I actually remember that because we were all freaking out like, oh God, when's it going to stop raining? We're not going to be able to film this. This is the most important scene, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I walk into the other room and you guys are just dancing.
Yeah. I mean, I said, I had the attitude of, it's going to work out because it has to work out. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not my money invested in the movie. So it's a lot easier for me to have that attitude.
Yeah, we tried to keep that attitude as much as possible.
Oh yeah, it was a very, very happy set.
Yeah, particularly other Eric, no relation, mm-hmm. And myself, we really tried to be like, all right, it's gonna work. It's worked thus far. And we had gotten to that last day, and it was like we shot everything except the very beginning and the very end, the first and last scene. And we're just like, well, technically we could have a movie. It just wouldn't have a satisfying beginning or ending at that point, but it all worked out. And you were super flexible the whole time because we were constantly changing the schedule for various reasons, for schedule or for availability, for budget, for weather, all kinds of things. And I just remember every time you were the person I was least concerned about.
Thank you.
With the schedule, because I would say like, hey, can you actually come in this day instead of this day or both of these days? And you'd be like, okay, yeah, just tell me when to be there. You were a really easy person to work with. Yeah. And I know most of the people on the crew were disappointed on days you weren't there.
Oh, that's I mean, I had so much fun doing it. So I was happy to be there anytime you want to be there.
Yeah. So if we were to make a sequel, would you return as George Washington?
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking, just as far as titles go, you got at least a 5-movie franchise before you even have to start thinking about titles. You have like Re-Elected, then you said Re-Elected.
Yeah, the second one is Re-Elected.
Yeah, then 3-Elected.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the time travel one, Pre-Elected.
Oh yeah, that would be.
And then just the prequel, Elected, explaining how these presidential bodies got there.
Yeah, they were. I think at one point in the very early stages of the script, I had some like really dumb line of exposition where like all of the presidents' bodies were dug up from wherever they are and buried in this random patch of Maryland.
Right.
And like I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
But
I think you said in our meeting, it's like, whether it's actually George Washington's body or his spirit somehow possessing another body, that's up to the audience to determine.
yeah, we wanted to make sure we gave people way too much information, but then let
Not
them
enough.
figure
Yeah.
the rest of it out on their own. So
Right.
it worked. It worked.
Yeah, but yeah, I would be back for absolutely anything.
Yeah, we'll make it. You'll be like Jason. You'll be.
Yeah,
You keep dying and keep coming back to life, and
yeah.
eventually you'll fight. I don't know, Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's 2 Hamilton references in this video.
Right. Yeah, we got to piggyback on it as much as we can.
But yeah, so yeah, Erik Alexis is George Washington.
Yes.
Are there any other memories or stories or thoughts?
Oh, let me think. I did write a cheat sheet out. Got most of this. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it was almost, as opposed to, I'm sure, the complete opposite to you, it was just almost a relaxing experience a lot, where you'd be all filming other stuff. I just remember times where, sitting in costume, lounging about the fire pit at the second location, and eating s'mores, and Spat, the makeup guy, and the stunt guys were just talking about other projects they'd worked on. It was just a lot of very, very chill.
Yeah, that's good that you were
chill. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't the experience for you.
Yeah, being an actor, that's the beauty of acting in film, is that the actor is so important that no one lets them lift a finger. Yeah. And like on a small set like we had, a lot of the time actors, particularly Cameron, who plays Nate, he would always just volunteer to do things. And I'm like, no, dude, like, you're the actor. Just sit down, look pretty.
Yeah.
Read over your lines. So it's more relaxing for you. That's why I always envy actors, but I couldn't couldn't be as scary or as crazy as you are in the movie. So,
Yeah. Well, actually, am I allowed to say that you have a cameo, not to be specific, but
yeah, I do have a cameo.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that quite a bit.
It's good. Keep an eye out. This
brought a lot of energy to it. Yeah.
You know this mustache. Yeah. You'll see it in the film. One thing I wanted to touch on, your makeup, the prosthetics. I remember at first Spat, who is practically a wizard.
Yeah.
He would tell me, okay, it's going to take a couple hours to do the makeup, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then as the process went on, as the shoot went on, it became less and less time. And eventually he found ways to do it a lot quicker. And the makeup kind of evolves a little bit throughout the movie. It
does, yeah.
But what was it like for you? Because I would just see you show up and you'd look normal, and then suddenly you'd be a zombie. So I don't know anything about how the process went. What was it like for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for saying that I look normal regularly. And I mean, it was just sitting in the chair. He would start with, darkening things, or like putting on the bits of prosthetics, then working with the coloring. And I think he had a general idea of what he wanted, but also kind of like we could be loose with the show. He kind of was like, all right, if this is looking particularly good or working out well, he would go in that direction with it. When doing the makeup, I think he had an idea of a design, but was not beholden to it. So that's probably partially why it got quicker too, that we figured out the look early on. Yeah. And then needing to replicate it later was a much faster process. But I would just sit there and listen to, him talk, listen to the costuming crew, just chat, and Belle, the dog, she was always interesting. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool what he came up with every time, and it was pretty spooky.
Yeah.
I just remember the first time I saw you, he's like, all right, here's George Washington. And I looked at you and I like didn't want to get too close
Yeah.
because it was, I remember that day, the face was kind of drippy
Drippy.
almost.
Yeah.
And it was like gooey looking and it just looked really gross. And your teeth
Yeah.
were always, he would like paint them
Yeah. They're
brown
like brown. Yeah.
because George Washington had wooden teeth. I found out a whole dark history behind that, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it,
But mythically, he had wooden teeth.
yeah. But yeah, it was really cool, and it was just so funny that you'd just be standing there and you'd just be like, yeah, hey, what's up? And then suddenly action, and you're, and
Yeah.
you're growling and running around. It was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it would have been an insufferable part if I had gone a method with that kind of role.
Yeah, that's why we were gonna have Daniel Day-Lewis, but he was too into it. But yeah, George Washington is a real highlight of the movie, and Erik Alexis, you are a real highlight of the planet.
Oh,
Is there anything else you want to tell the good people of the internet?
Just that you are a highlight of my planet.
Me or
All
the
of them.
internet?
Well, I meant you, but all of them too. Yes, if they see the movie when they have the opportunity.
Yeah, and if you don't see the movie, you suck.
Yeah, then yeah.
Sweet, cool. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to have as many people as possible see this movie because I really think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited too. If you're interested, the movie's going to be available eventually, but right now, the world's kind of in flux, so we're playing it by ear. But just keep an eye out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and we'll keep updating you on when you can actually see the movie. And if this exists in another form, like on a DVD as a bonus feature, then congratulations, you just watched the movie, and now you know a little bit more about it. But anyway, thanks for checking us out. Thank you, Erik, and stay spooky.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.